beverage from one of the 6 breweries in the Portland area.
Yeah, I'll do anything for a free beer. So
a good incentive to go out there,
right.
Definitely. But I mean, wow, 1,000, 2,000
right,
people.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
That's so Portland, though. Is tree hugging, like it's just so hippie.
Is it?
So it looks
Portland?
like a lot of fun, you know. But we have a lot of breweries here in Macon too. We got Macon, the Macon Brewing Company.
Mm-hmm.
And they got their own Macon Progress. So many puns you could be making with Macon.
Exactly.
Beers,
exactly.
But.
And today's like today, you need a cold
beverage
outside or something, just water or something. Stay hydrated today. Because take a look at these temperatures outside. Now, Tom was saying earlier, it is just so hot. It's like 100 degrees out there. I was like, Tom, it really is. It feels like 100 degrees. 103 in Butler.
Eyewitness News at 11.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tom George. In just over 1 week, people across the state of Georgia will decide who is going to face Democrat Michelle Nunn in the race to replace Senator Saxby Chambliss. Yesterday, David Perdue was in Kathleen as part of his 10-day campaign tour, but today he and Jack Kingston participated in a debate on Georgia Public Broadcasting from the Atlanta Press Club. For more than 20 years, the GPB and the Atlanta Press Club have hosted political debates during election years in Georgia. There were 3 rounds in the debate tonight. One round included a question from the panelist. Right off the bat, the topic of immigration and how it relates to Georgia was asked. Representative Jack Kingston fielded that question.
This is a policy that is a self-imposed disaster by President Obama. It is pure chaos. We need to have common sense on the border, and that's why I have fought amnesty and for border security while I've been a member of Congress.
A chance to respond to that question, but his first question dealt with his plans to tackle the national debt, whether or not a tax increase would be included, and what items would be off limits. He says this is the key issue for the race.
We really have to get this economy going. There are 3 very simple things that we can do. First, as I think we have to have tax reform. I am now a fighter for the fair tax because it will level the playing field for our manufacturers with factories around the world. The second thing is we have to get these regulators pulled back. And the third is we have to finally have an energy policy after all these years.
In round 2, each candidate was able to ask his opponent one question, and the opponent was given time to respond. Perdue asked first, going after $80,000 in contributions to Kingston's campaign by a man Perdue characterized as a Palestinian felon who the government is trying to deport. Kingston says the man is not a contributor to his campaign. When they found out there were questions about him, they voluntarily returned all of the money. He says the real question is who's donating to the Perdue campaign.
You know, there's a super PAC on your behalf, a super PAC on my behalf. My super PAC, and which isn't mine and nor more than yours is yours, but they disclose who the donors are. We have no idea who is supporting your super PAC and trying to influence this election outcome.
He responded by saying Jack Kingston's lawyer admits Kingston's knowledge of the felon and said Kingston is open for business if you want to buy favor or influence. Kingston took time to ask about Perdue's trucking company and how it possibly benefited from Perdue's appointment to the Georgia Port Authority. Kingston says Perdue never signed an agreement identifying a possible conflict of interest, but his company made millions of dollars by doing business with the port.
There's absolutely nothing to this. But now that you bring the port up, I'd like to remind people that you've been trying for 17 years to deepen this port 5 feet. That's what we've been doing for 17 years, while China has built one entire port in the last 3 years. This is an economic engine down there. In the real world, you would have been fired with that kind of performance, and now here you are wanting a promotion.
Early voting for the July runoffs ends this Friday. Election Day is next Tuesday, July 22nd.
And it's a pretty nice evening out there. Temperatures not too bad at this hour. We've seen a few clouds on Doppler Max HD, but first let's get to your temperatures across central Georgia. 75 in Macon, 77 in Warner Robins, 79 right now in Vidalia. Still a few 80s on the board. Here's Doppler Max HD. It has been quiet all afternoon long. A few clouds have moved on in, but for the most part, expect mostly clear skies tonight with light winds. And as we go on into the overnight hours, temperatures will drop down to the lower 70s and upper 60s. And then another hot day for Monday as we go on into the work week, starting off on a hot note. Temperatures tomorrow are going to be in the low 90s, but factor in the humidity and it's going to feel like triple digits with a slight chance of rain for Monday afternoon, but the better rain chance rolls in for Tuesday. We'll talk about it coming up in just a few minutes in your full forecast.
All right, thanks, Olivia. Check in with you a little later.
Sounds good.
All right, the Bibb Sheriff's Office is looking for information on a shooting early Sunday morning. According to a press release, 16-year-old Keontre Bonner was shot in the leg as he was walking to a house on Bobby Jones Street. The shooting happened near Nisbet Drive and Bonnie Avenue. He was listed in stable condition. The incident is under investigation and there is no description of a suspect at this time. If you have any information, please contact Macon Regional Crime Stoppers at 1-877-68-CRIME. Again, that's 1-877-68-CRIME. Some lawyers in Georgia say social media presence might be a factor in jury selection. The American Bar Association has said lawyers can scan publicly available social media accounts to get information on potential jurors without violating ethics. One attorney in Gainesville says various social media platforms are equivalent to modern public records unless certain privacy settings are in place. A different attorney says information on potential jurors' social media accounts can be especially helpful if there's a case that's been in the news. He says their feelings on those cases could reveal their bias. Well, there's no trash pickup in Hancock County because county officials say it's too expensive. One man in Hancock County says government officials need to do better about fixing the trash problem. He says he's now having to dump his trash in Baldwin County. Today, he told Sophia Dana Arcotier why he thinks the solution officials have put in stinks. A lot of changes can happen in 1 year. This weekend, people in the state of Florida are taking time to remember the case of George Zimmerman in the shooting death of Trayvon Martin. One of the key witnesses in that case, Rachel Jontell, received harsh treatment from many people on TV and social media for her often abrasive attitude and lack of education. But as many are questioning the not guilty verdict for Zimmerman, others are taking time to congratulate Jontell on her accomplishments instead.